thank you so much, Marty. It's wonderful to be with you.
Picking, grinning, feeling lazy, thinking about my black-eyed daisy. Don't that fiddle drive you crazy? Come on out tonight. Hey boys, where's your partner? Don't you know the time is right? Hey boys, swing your partner. Come on out tonight. I like ham and I like gravy. Let's go set the table, baby. Peaches, cream, sugar, maybe. Come on out tonight. Hey boys, where's your partner? Don't you know the time is right? Hey boys, swing your partner. Come on out tonight. Dance a jig and I will follow right way back and give a holler. Kiss the fiddler, play the caller. Come on out tonight. Hey boys, where's your partner? Don't you know the time is right? Hey boys, swing your partner. Come on out tonight. Hey boys, where's your partner? Don't you know the time is right? Hey boys, swing your partner. Come on out tonight.
Now tell me where my true love is. Tell me if you can. Tell me where my true love is. Off with another man. Shady Grove, my true love. Shady Grove, I sing. Shady Grove, my true love. Bound to go away. Now tell me where my true love is. Tell me if you know. Tell me where my true love is. Down in old Mexico.
Shady Grove, my true love. Shady Grove, I say. Shady Grove, my true love.
Bound to go away. I used to have a big white house, horse and a buggy fine. I used to hug and kiss the girls, used to call them mine. Shady Grove, my true love. Shady Grove, I sing. Shady Grove, my true love. Bound to go away. Now, when I was a little boy, wanted to borrow a knife. Now I am a great big boy. I'm a taking for me a wife.
Shady Grove, my true love. Shady Grove, I sing. Shady Grove, my true love. Bound to go away.
I got my knapsack on my back, must get on my shoulder. I'm a going down to New Orleans. I'm gonna be a soldier.
Shady Grove, my true love. Shady Grove, I sing. Shady Grove, my true love. Bound to go away. Shady Grove, my true love. Shady Grove, I sing. Shady Grove, my true love. Bound to go away.
Well, thank you. That's our brother-in-law, Al White. He and Alice met in 1975 on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. This young man playing the five-string banjo, he made his Grand Ole Opry debut playing when he was 15 years old. He's from Morgan County, Kentucky, and he's the director of the Kentucky Center for Traditional Music at Morehead State University. His name is Daxon Lewis. Well, the young lady with the mandolin at the moment is our sister Al's husband, Al's wife. And I'll tell you, Al and Alice are responsible for a lot of wonderful things in this world, including music and including a lot of other things. But one of the things that I love most is their homegrown tomatoes, because they have about the best tasting tomatoes in their garden that I ever tasted.
Ain't nothing in this world that I like better than bacon and lettuce and homegrown tomatoes. Up in the morning, out in the garden, pick you a ripe one, don't get a hard one. Plant 'em in the spring or eat 'em in the summer. All winter without 'em's a culinary bummer. I forget all about the sweating and the digging every time I go out and I pick me a biggin. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. One life be without homegrown tomatoes. Only two things that money can't buy. That's true love and homegrown tomatoes. You can go out to eat, and that's for sure, but there's nothing a homegrown tomato won't cure. Put 'em in a salad, put 'em in a stew. You can even make your very own tomato juice. Eat 'em with eggs or eat 'em with gravy. Eat 'em with beans, pinto or navy. Put 'em on the side, put 'em in the middle. Put your homegrown tomatoes on a hot cake griddle. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'll life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy. That's true love and homegrown tomatoes. change the life I lead. I'd be Johnny Tomato Seed, 'cause I know what this country needs. It's homegrown tomatoes in every yard I see. When I die, don't bury me in a box in a cemetery, 'cause out in the garden would be much better. I could be pushing up a homegrown tomato. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'll life be without homegrown tomatoes?
Only two things that money can't buy.
And that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
Well, we just are celebrating our 54th year. We started our first weekly television series in 1968 in Hazard, Kentucky. If you've seen the news recently, that flood came right through the place where we were raised. And so 4 years ago, we celebrated our 50th anniversary, and we did a number of things. We have, for one thing, at the record table, a book that came out at that time. It's called The McClain Family Band 50 Years of Music. We did a nice tour and went all over the world, actually. And we made a new record. And Ruth wrote the title song. It's called Celebrate Life, and we're going to sing it for you right now.
With a grateful heart and time so joyous, we're thankful for our friends around us. They give us strength to carry on and find the light that's shining on. Celebrate life, celebrate life, celebrate life. God sent His Son to give us hope. Faith and honor will help us cope. He'll give us strength to carry on and find the light that's shining on. Celebrate life, celebrate life, celebrate life. When times are tough and no one knows it, close your eyes and gain your courage. Find the strength to carry on and find the light that's shining on. Celebrate life, celebrate life, celebrate life. Can it be that they hurt too and carry a burden just like you? Give them strength to carry on and find the light that's shining on. Celebrate life, celebrate life, celebrate life, celebrate life, celebrate life, celebrate life. introduce you,
Well,
Raymond?
sure, if you'd like to.
Raymond is my big brother. He's Ruth's big brother too, and he's he started many things, many ways of playing, many ways of singing and so forth, and he's transmitted that to students at Eastern Tennessee State University and at Morehead State University. So he's been doing it for years for, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of students.
Years?
Not years. No, not years. Not for. But for hundreds and hundreds of
I'm
students.
getting more
And,
legendary
and-
all the time.
But he's my big brother, and that's the most important thing of all. So this is Raymond McClain.
Thank you, Alice. That's very sweet. We have had a lot of opportunities to play music with some of our heroes. Matter of fact, Jerry McCoury is going to be up here in a few minutes, and the first time we met Jerry was in 1969, give or take a year. I believe it was 69. And he came with Don Reno and Bill Harrell and Red Smiley and Buck Ryan down to Kentucky to play in Belfry, Kentucky at the high school auditorium for the Pike County Jamboree. And it was a big deal. And it was the first time that I had seen, that any of us probably had seen anybody play the bass with that kind of groove and that kind of energy. Matter of fact, Don Reno, after the show, I said something about Jerry, and Don said, when Jerry McCoury plays with the group, it's not like you added one musician, it's like you added two or three. And I'm sure that had a huge influence on Ruth.
Well, I was 11 years old, and he made such a huge influence on what the way I played and the respect that we all gave the bass. And so we're just thrilled to get to be here with Jerry and his band.
Yeah, and Marshall Wilburn is here in the audience. He and Lynn Morris, and so we've got three of the premier bass players within a very small area here today. Matter of fact, let's dedicate this whole show to Lynn and Marshall. We're so glad you all came to. We've been knowing them since many, many decades.
This whole event here today is celebrating Bill Monroe's birthday.
Yes,
right?
And it certainly is. It's he would be 111 years old. 111 years since the day of his birth today. So this is a number that we used to do with Bill. We were very fortunate to have the opportunity to tour a good bit with him, and he invited us to all of his festivals for quite a number of years. And this is a number that we used to do with him on jam sessions. One of his songs, She's My Rose of Old Kentucky. Well, she bloomed for me in a little village near a cabin on a hill. We made our vows to love each other, and I know we always will. She's my rose of old Kentucky. I watched her bloom as the years go by, and to me they'll never be another. I love her till the day I die. In my dreams I see my darling in a gingham gown. She looks so sweet. Oh, I long for old Kentucky and my darling in this world to meet. She's my rose rose of old Kentucky, and I know she'll never lie. She's my rose of old Kentucky. I watched her bloom as the years go by, and to me there'll never be another. I love her till the day I die. She's my rose of old Kentucky. I watched her bloom as the years go by, and to me there'll never be another. I love her till the day I die. And when Ruth would do that, Bill would take the microphone, because a lot of times there wasn't a mic on the bass in those days. Usually there might be two mics, or a lot fewer than there are today. And Bill would take the mic he was singing on and put it down for Ruth, and she'd take that break. This is a song our father wrote. We had the opportunity to do a good bit of touring over the years. And internationally, we played in 64 countries as the McClain family band, many times representing our United States Department of State. And it really was an honor to have the opportunity to play bluegrass music and our traditional country music from our country and represent our nation that way. It was quite an honor. But we were lonesome one time, and Daddy always had a wonderful way of looking at things, and he said, you know, the breeze that's blowing across your face right now, one time that same wind blew in Kentucky, because we all share the same wind. It's called Kentucky Wind.
The wind sings an old song in Kentucky, half remembered from some other time and place. It brings back now and then an old-time feeling left over from its never-ending race. Sing to me, Kentucky wind, sing to me. The wind saves its best voice for the evening, sounding clearer as the shadows grow. But whatever song it seems to want to sing us, it's not in our experience to know. Sing to me, Kentucky wind, sing to me. If I could only see things as the wind does in its restless journey through the it, shout it out for all to understand. Sing to me, Kentucky wind, sing to me. Sing to me, Kentucky wind, sing to me.
Well, Al's going to get his fiddle right now. He was responsible for the Bluegrass music program at Berea College for many years, and frequently took some of his student bands to perform internationally. They went to places like Denmark and Ireland and places like that. And he tried to tell me one time that he caused a wedding once while he was over in Ireland.
Oh, Al, how do you cause a wedding?
Remarkable powers that pull people together, make them think they fall in love with each other. Well, no, I just stayed kind of out of the way. I brought the people together, and they made it all happen. The Irish fireworks happened right on schedule. Showed up, it just shined up the night sky. Yes, it did. Yeah, Alice and I've been married 46 years this February.
Yeah.
40. That's pretty good considering how young we were when we were married. Like Alice was 7, I was 9. But, we've done okay, especially for musicians. That's hard to do. So many temptations in the musicians' world. Yeah, weddings going around all over the place. So yeah, I did. The wedding, I guess, did happen because I brought two people together that were destined to be married and have kids and live good. So this song has kind of got the marriage theme going, and it's when we learned from an Irish band. It's a Scottish song. Threw some Irish fiddle tunes in there to have some fun with that, and it's called Mary's Wedding. You ready? Yeah, time must whack up a little. The weather's making my bow go sloppy. Here we go. We gaily on we go, hill for hill, toe for toe, arm in arm and row off for Mary's wedding. Over hill ways up and down, Myrtle Green and Bracken Brown, past Sheeling through the town, all for the sake of Mary. Step we gaily on we go, hill for hill, toe for toe, arm in arm and row off for Mary's wedding. Hill ways up and down, Myrtle Green and Bracken Brown, past Sheeling through the town, all for the sake of Mary. Step we gaily on we go, hill for hill, toe for toe, arm in arm and row off for Mary's wedding. Cheeks as red as Rowan's are, brighter eyes as any star, fairest of them all by far, that's our darling Mary. Step we gaily on we go, hill for hill, toe for toe, arm in arm and row off for Mary's wedding.
We had several requests before the show. A number of people came and asked me if I would please tune my guitar. Most of the requests came from the rest of the band. Are we good? What kind of story you want me to tell them?
What about me and my gal Sal?
I'll tell you a little story about me and my gal Sal. One time I told my pa wasn't it about time for us to go out larrapin', terrapin', coonskin hunting. He asked me, didn't care whether we did or not. So I went out and whistled up all the dogs, but I whistled her up too. And we got out in the boat and went up the Charles River about a mile, half two, half three, up where the river runs across a creek on a footlog, about 40 miles up in a sycamore sapling of an oak tree. Well, I told my pa what, and he aimed to help me get it out of there. And he asked me, didn't care whether we did or not. So I took my old hog rifle up against my shoulder and I shot once and missed it, and shot again and hit it right where I missed it. Well, I climbed the tree and shook, and directly I heard something hit the ground, looked around, and it was me. Don't you know, every one of the dogs jumped on me, but old Loud, and she jumped on me too, and I picked up a pine knot growing on a hickory stump and knocked every one of them dogs back off me, but old Loud knocked her back off too. We got back in the boat, went back down the Charles River about a mile, half two, half three, looked over in the pig patch. The pumpkins had got loose in the pig patch, eating up every pig in the patch. Maybe Paul Matt, he grabbed a pig right off a pig vine, busted all the piece over a pumpkin's head. We went in and told Ma, she just raised Cain. Me, I never could stand to hear Cain raised, so I told my pa wasn't it about time for me to go see my gal Sal. He asked me, didn't care whether we did or not. So I went out, rustled up old Jim, put the saddle on the bridle, throwed the reins around my neck, and went up the road in a single trot. After a while, the fence folks rode up to me. I went in to see Sal. She was sitting in the middle of the floor in a big rocking chair waiting on me. Well, I threw my hat in the fire and spit in the bed and sat down in the middle of the floor beside her in another big rocking chair. She talked about herself, and I talked about myself, and we got tired. I told her, wasn't it about time for us to go up to the peach orchard and get some apples? And she asked me, she didn't care whether we did or not. So I went up and climbed the tree and shook and looked down, and Sal was catching apricots in her apron. Don't you know, I fell out of the tree, straddled the fence, both legs on the same side, like to tore the left hind sleeve right out of my breeches, and I went up road looking for a doctor. That was the last time I saw Sal, and the last time she saw me. We don't know what each other's doing. Okay, here's Al White with another good fiddle tune.
Let's see. Well, listen, maybe. If I could just stand on my head, I could get my fiddle into the mic. Can I try that? Do you mind if I try? It might help my fiddle player. I could use a little help. A couple Irish tunes. The first one's called The Banshee, and the second one's called The Gravel Walk.
Well, while Al's getting his mandolin, I'll just tell you that we just recorded the Song of the Mountains television program last week in Marion, Virginia, at the Lincoln Theater. It's broadcast nationally. I don't know if y'all watch that normally, but it's a wonderful program, and we were glad to be part of that on PBS. You ready, Al? I'm sure. Okay.
Let's play some bluegrass for Bill Monroe. There you go.
I'm going to the races, gonna see my pony run, and if I win in greenbacks, we're surely gonna have some fun. They say we can't get married, they say I'm not worthy of you, but they don't know what they're talking about, they don't know what we're going through. I'm going to the races, gonna see my pony run, and if I win in the greenbacks, we're sure gonna have some fun. When you see me coming, better raise your window high. When you see me leaving, no, hang down your head and cry. I'm going to the races, gonna see my pony run, and if I win in greenbacks, we're sure gonna have some fun. I'm going to the races, gonna see my pony run, and if I win in greenbacks, we're sure gonna have some fun.
Thank you.
Brink Brinkman wrote this. If I could make you love me now, would I? If I could wipe away your frown, oh, would I? If I could be your wildest dream, float together down life's stream, crazy as it seems, oh, would I? If I could make your heart feel light, would I? Put a smile in your eye, oh, would I? If I could reach up and take hold, turn your blue moon to gold, put the fire back in your soul, oh, would I? If I could make you love me now, would I? If I could wipe away your frown, oh, would I? If I could be your wildest dream, float together down life's stream, crazy as it seems, oh, would I? If I spent the day with you, would you finally see the truth? Or would you still believe you need more proof? Would you let my heart come in, or would you be a long-lost friend? Would sparks be flying high by day's end? If I could make your heart feel light, would I? Put a smile in your eye, oh, would I? If I could reach up and take hold, turn your blue moon to gold, put put the fire back in your soul. Oh, would I? If I could make your heart feel light, would I?
Would I?
Put a smile in your eye, oh, would I? If I could reach up and take hold, turn your blue moon to gold, put the fire back in your soul, oh, would I? If I could reach up and take hold, turn your blue moon to gold, put the fire back in your soul, oh, would I? I recently, well, I guess it's been a few years ago now, heard a friend talk about a friend of hers, and she'd been at the hospital with him as his wife was dying. And they'd been married for something like 70 years. And he told her that, in all those 70 years, he'd never gone to bed one night without her. And she said the impact of that didn't really hit her till she went home that night and went to bed herself and realized, oh my God, he's going to bed alone for the first time in all those years. And that story inspired me to write this song. I wrote it with a young lady from Olive Hill, Kentucky. It's called The Night Bird. Laying without you, dear's more lonely than I feared. You brought the stillness to my night. You angel, you will never be replaced. Love goes beyond the vow, even now. I'm so lonesome for our love. Was there a lonelier heart in the heavens above? Now the night bird cries, yes, sleep is here. Please send a sweet dream for me. They lowered me down today in a countryside grave. I saw the tears that filled your eyes. In dreams we can dance, live, love, and romance. In dreams you'll know I'm here. You give a love so rooted. You give an anchor for this ship to stay shore. Together forevermore. Now the night bird's quiet. Yes, sleep is here. Will you dance with me in our dream? This is our dream. We can do as we please. Take my hand, take my lead. We'll dance cheek to cheek. Oh, it's been so long since we felt we could dance. Take my heart, take the chance. In dreams, our dance can last forever. Every dream's a new beginning. Every dream can be better than the dream that came before. Angels can fly so high, and we can love so deep. And now I lay me down to sleep. Thank you. Daxon Lewis.
Yes, sir.
Daxon Lewis, you're the director for the Kentucky Center for Traditional Music at Morehead State University.
Yes, indeed.
Say something smart.
Well, on the topic, I'll say this. I had some mighty big shoes to fill, but I had the great privilege to go through that program and earn a bachelor's degree studying this type of music under Raymond and Ruth and a host of other great instructors. And I'm really excited to have the opportunity to continue that program and to carry forward the work that Raymond started.
I didn't start the program.
Well, but you did a lot for it.
Sandy Nip and then
Don Rigsby.
were
All of
directors
those
before me.
great directors. How about we sing a song?
Let's do it. What you gonna sing, Daxon?
Well, this is a great gospel tune that I learned from the Rochesters. This is called Way Down Deep in My Soul. I have a feeling in my soul since the Savior made me whole. Way down, way down, way down, way down, way down deep in my soul. I'm trusting Jesus every day, for I know I'm on my way. Way down, way down, way down, way down, way down deep in my soul.
My soul down in
my soul.
I'll sing and pray
till Christ shall come to take me with him to stay. Then I'll be going to that home, nevermore from him to roam. Way down,
way down,
way down, way down, way down deep in my soul.
my soul.
The light of heaven I now can see, for he came and set me free. Way down,
Way down,
way down,
way down,
way down deep in my soul.
my soul.
I know there's glory to behold, for I feel it in my soul. Way down,
Way down,
way down,
way down,
way down deep in my soul.
my soul down in
My soul.
I'll sing
and pray till Christ shall come to take me with him to stay. Then I'll be going to that home, nevermore from him to roam. Way down, way down, way down, way down, way down deep in my soul.
my soul down in
my soul.
I'll sing and pray
till Christ shall come to take me with him to stay. Then I'll be going to that home, nevermore from him to roam. Way down, way down, way down, way down, way down deep in my soul.
my soul.
Well, would you like us? We're being kind of informal today. Tell us if there's something you'd particularly like for us to do, and we'll tell you why we can't do it. Or maybe we can. Would you like another gospel quartet? Yeah. Okay. Okay. What you gonna sing, Alice?
Take a moment to live.
There's a city of gold across the river. When I reach it, I'm told I'll live for a. My soul will fly over Jordan,
On wings of love, I'll fly away. Not a moment to lose.
Not a moment to lose. There's nothing to do but make up your mind.
Take a moment and
Take a moment to choose.
God's
There's nothing but
love
love and glory
From
divine.
the moment you're saved,
Just the moment you're saved, you'll sing and you'll shout how happy you'll be.
take a moment and
Take a moment to live eternally, for heaven is free. How happy you'll be when heaven you see.
I'm so glad that I know sweet peace and pardon. Wheresoever I go, I'm glad to say my soul will fly over Jordan, on wings of love. I'll fly away. Not a moment to lose.
Not a moment to lose. There's nothing you do but make up your mind.
Take a moment and
Take a moment to choose. There's nothing but love and glory divine.
From the moment you saved,
Just the moment you're saved, you'll sing and you'll shout how happy you'll be.
take a moment and
Take a moment to live eternally, for heaven is free. How happy you'll be when heaven you see.
The river is wide and rough the water. My Savior will come for me one day. My soul will fly over Jordan,
Over Jordan.
on wings of love. I'll fly away. Not a moment to lose.
Not a moment to lose. There's nothing to do but make up your mind.
Take a moment and
Take a moment to choose.
God's
There's nothing
love
but love and glory
From
divine.
the moment you're saved,
Just the moment you're saved,
How
you'll
happy
sing and
you'll
you'll
be.
shout how happy you'll be.
take a moment and
Take a moment to live eternally, for heaven is free. How happy you'll be when heaven you see.
Take a moment and
Take a moment to live eternally, for heaven you see.
We're from the state of Kentucky, and very close to, sort of in between where Al and Alice and Ruth live in Berea and where I live in Lexington, and off to the west a little bit is Shaker Village. And Al's going to sing probably one of the best known of all the Shaker hymns, "Simple Gifts."
You know, simple gifts. Okay, let's just talk about that for a second.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, you know, we're talking about marriage and all that,
Oh, yeah.
long married life together.
Yeah.
We, Alice and I, that is, take a little anniversary trip once a year up until pandemic times. And about 2.5 years ago, we went to Playa del Carmen to the Iberostar. They remember that, Alice?
Yeah, I do. I remember it quite well.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, it was, I don't know what you're going to talk about now.
Well, I'll get around to the Shaker thing in a minute, but we stayed in the hotel. It was a big old U shape, and the wings headed out toward the ocean and the beach and the pool, all that. And in between that big area is jungle.
It was, yeah.
Pretty much natural. They just spiffed it up a little bit, made some trails, and maybe slicked up a little waterfall or something. But including in that jungle were jungle animals.
Yeah.
There were like these critters that had big, long, tall tails that walked around, kind of like they looked like flags on a golf cart or something. Their tails, remember that?
They did.
Had lizards, butterflies, birds, all manner of exotic things. But the most exotic was the howler monkeys.
They were.
Remember
They sounded kind of like someone was trying to move furniture across a
A
wooden,
wooden floor
and you
while
were
screaming.
underneath it.
While screaming.
While screaming,
Yeah,
yes. It was.
It's a wicked sound.
It
We didn't know
sounded-
what it.
I was
It
wild.
was crazy. We didn't know what it was for a while there. We thought it was,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But they were howler monkeys.
Howler monkeys.
Yeah.
So there was this one afternoon, along about 4 or 5 o'clock. Some people think of that as maybe happy hour, especially if they're on vacation, as we were. And but I seen a howler monkey coming toward the hotel, right near where our room was, up on the 3rd floor. So I was sitting there without a shirt on, having a cool drink, and this howler started climbing the balcony up 1 floor, 2 floors, onto our floor, and then started coming right toward me. So So I
On the
alerted
balcony.
Alan
On the ledge of
on the
the
ledge of the
balcony,
balcony. I alerted Alice that you might want to get a camera. This howler's coming to visit, man. So
It's true.
he walked right up to me and sat up in front of me there, and I noticed his mouth was moving. He wasn't saying anything, but his mouth was moving. So I studied real hard on what he was saying. Then I knew I had it figured out. He was saying, "It's Miller time." Okay. That's right. You remember that?
I do remember it. Actually, it was.
You got a picture of me and the howler about to have an
it's
encounter.
true.
Howler and
Yeah,
encounter.
yeah. Al stayed very, very, very still.
Oh, they say not to come near those dudes. They'll bite you.
Yeah, so, but he was near you.
He was just helping me out, man.
Yeah, he was.
Back to Shakertown, okay. So we had our honeymoon at Shakertown. Proceeded to break rule number 1 and then 2, 3. We were up to about 10 by the time we were done with our honeymoon. But one of the most famous songs as they were saying, "It's time for me to quit talking and play the banjo," okay? The flags are coming out, yellow then red. But sure enough, here's a song that has gotten to be the most famous Shaker piece I think there is. So, Simple Gifts. 2, 3.
Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. When we find ourselves in a place just right, it will be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we will not be ashamed. To turn and to turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be fair, 'tis a gift to wake and breathe the morning air, and every day to walk in the path we choose. 'Tis a gift we pray we may ne'er come to lose. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we will not be ashamed. To turn and to turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. Tis a gift to be loving, 'tis the best gift of all, like the quiet rain that whispers when it falls. When we have this gift, we may surely believe that it's better to give than it is to receive. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we will not be ashamed. To turn and to turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we will not be ashamed. To turn and to turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, coming for to carry me home. Why don't you swing down, cherry stomping, let me ride. Oh, swing down, sweet cherry stomping, let me ride. Oh, rock me, Lord, slow and easy. I've got a home on the other side.
I looked over Jordan and what did I see?
Coming for to carry me home.
A band of angels coming after me.
Coming for to carry me home. Why don't you swing down, cherry stomping, let me ride. Oh, swing down, sweet cherry stomping, let me ride. Oh, rock me, Lord, slow and easy. I've got a home on the other side. I'm sometimes up and I'm sometimes down, coming for to carry me home. But still my soul is heavenly bound, coming for to carry me home. Why don't you swing down, cherry stomping, let me ride. Oh, swing down, sweet cherry stomping, let me ride. Oh, rock me, Lord, slow and easy. I've got a home on the other side.
If you get there before I do,
Coming for to carry me home.
tell all my friends that I'm coming too.
Coming for to carry me home. Why don't you swing down, cherry stomping, let me ride. Oh, swing down, sweet cherry stomping, let me ride. Oh, rock me, Lord, slow and easy. I've got a home on the other side. Yes, I've got a home on the other side. Oh, I've got a home on the other side.
Daxon's going to sing a song that Ruth wrote especially for him. It's called My Home is in Kentucky.
Absolutely. But we're like in Virginia just fine, too.
You buddy.
1, 2. My home is in Kentucky, rolling hills of Kentucky. Looking round home, I never felt so lucky. I've been up and down the road, watched how the rivers flowed. Got to believe it, I know heaven when I see it. Well, I want to go to Jackson, Denver, and L.A., and I'll hop on a plane or a train, and I may. Well, I keep my bags packed and ready to go, and I'll tell you one thing that I know. My home is in Kentucky, rolling hills of Kentucky. Looking round home, I never felt so lucky. I've been up and down the road, watched how the rivers flowed. Got to believe it, I know heaven when I see it. And cornfields are fine. Well, I sure love the Rockies and Florida's sunshine. Well, I've got to visit Washington, Texas, and Maine. 1,000 miles, you won't hear me complain. My home is in Kentucky, rolling hills of Kentucky. Looking round home, I never felt so lucky. I've been up and down the road, watched how the rivers flow. Got to believe it, I know heaven when I see it. got the keys. California's got the stars and big redwood trees. But none can compare to the old KY, 'cause I've got a girl there with stars in her eyes.
My home is in Kentucky, rolling hills of Kentucky. Looking round home, I never felt so lucky. I've been up and down the road, watched how the rivers flow. Got to believe it, I know heaven when I see it. Kentucky.
From the great Atlantic Ocean to the wide Pacific shore, the queen of flowing mountains to the south up by the shore. She's mighty tall and handsome and known quite well by all. She's the combination on the Wabash Cannonball. She came down from Birmingham one cold December day. As she rolled into the station, you could hear all the people say, "There's a gal from Tennessee, she's long and she's tall. She came down from Birmingham on the Wabash Cannonball." Our eastern states are dandies, so the people always say. From New York to St. Louis and Chicago, by the way. From the hills of Minnesota, where the rippling waters fall, no changes can be taken on the Wabash Cannonball. So listen to the jingle, the rumble, and the roar as she glides along the woodland, through the hills and by the shore. Hear the mighty rush of the engine, hear the lonesome hobos call, traveling through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. So here's to Daddy Claxton, may his name forever stand, and always be remembered in the courts throughout the land. His earthly race is ended and the curtains around him fall, traveling home to victory on the Wabash Cannonball. Yeah, he's traveling through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. Well, we had some requests to do some of the numbers that we've done for quite a few decades now. This is a number that it's an old fiddle tune, Back Up and Push. And in 1974, our father wrote some words to Back Up and Push. Ask the question if the devil really lives in the fiddle or not. People used to say that, you know. My grandmother said she thought the devil lived in the fiddler. Did you ever wonder about the riddle? What kind of spirit lives in the fiddle? Is that old Satan right there waiting? Or is it tuned with the angel band? Back up and push, back up and push, back off from sin, let glory in. You can't go wrong singing the song, back up and push away. Prepare to suffer the consequences. The fullest measure of worldly pleasure can only stir up the roaring fire. Back up and push, back up and push, back off from sin. Let glory in. You can't go wrong singing this song. Back up and push away. Oh, yeah. Back up and push, back up and push, back off from sin. Let glory in. You can't go wrong singing this song. Back up and push away. I haven't introduced Ruth yet. Ruth is, she made her debut on national network television on CBS when she was just 13 years old.
It was just a couple years ago.
And she, that's true. And she sang 2 songs solo. And she has continued ever since that day, really reaching for the stars and grabbing a hold of them. Ruth is one of the few people that I know that is both an excellent supportive musician and a star. And she is a star. But she also knows how to be supportive on the stage and in life. This is our sister, Ruth McClain.
Thank you. Well, in 1936, Patsy Montana recorded a song that she wrote that became the first million seller of a country female artist. And we got to meet Patsy and even sing with her. She was my pen pal. This is I Want to Be a Cowboy's Sweetheart. I want to be a cowboy sweetheart. I want to learn to rope and to ride. I want to ride o'er the plains and the deserts out west of the great divide. I want to hear the coyotes howling while the sun sinks in the west. I want to be a cowboy sweetheart. That's a life that I love best. You're the lady, little lady, oh, little lady, oh, lady, oh, lady, lady. I want to ride old paint, going at a run. I want to feel the wind in my face. 1,000 miles from these city lights, going at a cowhand's pace. I want to pillow my head near the sleeping herd while the moon shines down from above. I want to strum my guitar and yodelay. Oh, that's the life that I love. Diddley, odelay, 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 odelay. Want to be a cowboy sweetheart. I want to learn to rope and to ride. I want to ride o'er the plains and the desert, out west of the great divide. I want to hear the coyotes howling while the sun sinks in the west. I want to be a cowboy sweetheart. That's a life that I love best. You're the lady, hey, the little lady, oh, little lady, little lady, oh, little lady, hey, little lady.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we come from eastern Kentucky. Somebody hand me my box of Dick Cigarettes. We come from eastern Kentucky. From if you saw the national news about the floods that happened on Troublesome Creek, that's exactly where we lived. And we wrote a song, a banjo duet actually, about that stream of water. We didn't write it before, well, it flooded every year anyway, which is probably why it got its name. But this was the biggest in history. That's called Troublesome Creek. 2, 3, 4. Well, friends, I'll just say again how honored we are are to have this opportunity to come up here to be Chord, and to play on this stage. It's such a pleasure. You know, there's history here. Even though it's not an ancient place, there's a lot of history here, and a lot has happened. A lot of great music has been made right here on this stage. And this stage that I understand burned down last year and was rebuilt. And it's just such a pleasure to come up here and to play with David and Linda Lay, dear friends from ever, and all the fine folks that. Matter of fact, David and Linda we used to see back at the Carter Family Fold when we used to play there back even in the 70s. And she and our sister Nancy Ann would have little dance routines worked out together that they would do, and it was really very exciting. And to play here with Jerry McCoury and his fine band, and to think about what an influence he's been not only on bluegrass music generally, but on us specifically, because you know it was really an inspiration to see him and Don and Red and Bill and Buck, and they were very kind to let me play along with them for about 3 years on the mandolin, and I really enjoyed that. I'll tell you, Jerry's welcoming personality. It's true not only from the stage, but it's true in person. And for a little kid, I was 17 years old or something, and barely knew my way around a mandolin, and he and all of the musicians were so welcoming, and made us feel like friends instantly. And even though it's been really decades now since we've actually worked together, it's really nice to be back with Jerry again, and with everybody. And I'd like to thank also Marty. Where are you, Marty? Are you close? Where's he at? Oh, Marty, thank you, sir. We appreciate you very much. We thank you for all the setup for the whole day. I mean, you all see, he sits in the hot seat, you know, during a show because everybody's looking at him, right? And we appreciate you very much. He's done a great job, and not only during the show, but all through the day to make us feel welcome, comfortable, and at home. And where's Melanie?
Right next to her.
And you're right there too. Melanie, thank you for everything. Thanks for inviting us to be part of this wonderful event. Thank you. We're going to leave you with a number called Far Away From Here. I've got the sunlight in my eyes. I've got the road beneath my wheels. The wind is running through my hair. I tell you, I like the way it feels. I'm riding high, I'm riding blind. I'm riding far away from here. I may be back, I may change my mind, and run them off, maybe on a year.